Chapter 79, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _1. Ha, ha, I haven't had miladies in such a long time, ha, ha. A pervert. It was late afternoon when the sun had risen high. When I returned home, a pervert was there. I really wish somebody would explain this situation to me. I'm sure an explanation would make this even more confusing, but at least it's going to be a good way to escape this reality. Still, there are times when we have to face reality. The pervert is holding Lady Violet's. Considering the pervert's duty, that in itself isn't weird. It's not supposed to be weird, but it is weird how excited the pervert is. It's okay, I'm Chloe Hartfield. Ever since I became Shiki's lord, I have had to reluctantly get used to such strange people. I shall gracefully turn them aside this time too. Ha, ha. I might as well put it in my mouth. Oh, this is the type of a situation I shouldn't ignore. I have to solve this problem. I resolved myself and decided to stand in front of the pervert. Why did things turn out this way again? I'm sorry, but may I please have a moment? Yes. I was taking a break from the work of very belatedly attaching snow protections to the garden trees of Mr. Green, who hurt his back in preparation of winter, for the second time this year, with the help of his daughter Emerald, when a certain man spoke to me. When I turned towards the voice, I saw an unfamiliar couple with similar features, who were dressed in winter coats and carrying travel bags. Both had slightly pointy and long ears, which weren't hidden by their hair, so maybe they had elf blood in them. What happened? I put the cup of tea, without poison, brewed by Emerald nearby, stood up, took off my working gloves and approached the pair. When I got close, both of them bowed. Is it just my imagination, or do they seem strangely used to this? When I looked closer, I realized that they were a very good-looking couple with the same brown hair and distinctive red and yellow eyes. They didn't look flashy enough to make a deep impression, but they looked down-to-earth and simple. We want to stay here. Is there any place where we can spend the night? Oh, in that case, as usual, I told them about the Inn Rainbow and the church where they could stay the night. If neither of them are available tonight, I'll invite them to my house, but that's only if they're both unavailable. I can't invite people to my house willy-nilly. And this time the pair chose to stay at the inn. I offered to show them around, but I was politely declined, with the excuse being they couldn't bear to bother me that much. Then, we will excuse ourselves. The man spoke and bowed together with the woman. It really feels like they're used to it. Could they be servants of some family? Oh, oops. I forgot to mention that I'm the lord. I always tell people to rely on me when people of Shiki cause trouble for them, but this time I completely forgot thanks to their soft-spoken attitude and a conversation with no idle chatter. Well, it's fine. In case of an emergency, they can ask the innkeeper, and if they plan to stay for a few days, I'll take that chance to introduce myself again. They came here to stay. What a strange pair. Hey. Emerald made a rude remark as she sipped her, slightly poisonous, tea. She had a lot of guts to say something like that in front of her lord, but it's a little frustrating that I can't rebuke her strongly because she's not entirely wrong. A young man and a woman? Yes. When I returned to the mansion and told Lady Violet what had happened earlier in the living room, she asked with a slightly quizzical look. Shiki lacks tourist attractions. Furthermore, given the season, it's rare to see tourists that aren't merchants, not to mention a pair of a young man and a woman. They might have eloped or been on a honeymoon. However, since they had similar features, they seemed more like siblings on a trip. They might have come here after hearing the rumors of the hot spring. There is also a chance that they may enjoy visiting secluded regions. Here's your tea, sir. Yeah, that's a possibility too. And thank you, Gray. I received tea from Gray and considered the possibility. Although I haven't advertised it yet, I've announced that a hot spring has been discovered. I guess there is a possibility that they are hot spring enthusiasts who came here after hearing the rumors. And the tea seeped into my cold body. Tea and coffee brewed by Gray are far more delicious than the ones I make, even though they are supposed to be the same thing. Lord Chloe, what were the characteristics of that pair? It's rare for you to be curious like that, Lady Violet. I guess. Lady Violet also received tea from Gray and sat in the chair opposite me. At first, I thought her question came from her caution towards people like Miss Schwartz, but it seemed like her questions were about something else. Both of them had shoulder-length brown hair and they had elf characteristics, with the man having red eyes and the woman having yellow eyes. I can't take a correct guess at their ages if they're elves, but I guess they looked a little younger than me, a human. A pair of a man and a woman with brown hair and red and yellow eyes. And elf characteristics. Could they have been? No, but Lady Violet didn't even touch the tea as they pondered about the characteristics I was recalling and muttered as if she had an idea of who they might have been. Maybe she knows them from the capital. They could have been seniors from school, acquaintances from the same noble circle, or maybe people from her paternal home. Oh, it looks like we have a visitor. I will take a look. Please do. Just as I was wondering, the mansion's doorbell rang, as if to interrupt my thoughts. Gray, who was first to react, set down the cup of tea he had brewed for himself, left the living room, and walked quickly towards the front door. I'm not waiting for anybody today, so who might it be? Maybe it's Mr. Yellow or Mrs. Blue, who've come to share rations for winter, or Cyan's here to pester me for something. No, maybe it's the pair I saw earlier. They might have come here to greet me after deciding to stay here for a while or relocate to Shiki forever. If it's the latter, they're pretty strange, or they're perverts. No, I can't think this way as the Lord. Then, as I waited while sipping my tea, Gray returned after a while. Lord Clo, we have guests. I assume they're the people we were just talking about. They seem to have wanted to greet you, so I took them to the reception room. Millimeter, got it. Gray, please make some tea. Yes, sir. As expected, the visitors were the pair from before. I took one more sip of tea and stood in front of the nearby mirror to adjust my clothes. I can't make them wait or go too fast, so I'll head for the guest room after a few seconds. Then, Lady Violet also stood up and came to me. I'll come with you, Lord Clo. As expected, you have an idea who they might be. Probably. But I'm not entirely sure. Is it okay if we greet them together? Yes, of course. I had no reasons to refuse, so I accepted her suggestion. From what I saw, it didn't seem to be a trauma related to the duel, so I'll keep an eye on her casually. I walked down the hallway of this kind of pointlessly wide mansion, stood at the front door of the guest room, took a deep breath and opened the door. I am sorry to have kept you waiting. No, we are sorry for the sudden visit. Pleased to meet you, we are her, you are. You're from earlier today. As soon as I entered the guest room, it was the same brown-haired pair from before who stood up and bowed to me. The only difference from before was the fact that they had no luggage with them and their strong-willed yet kind gaze had changed into a wary one. Sorry to have kept you waiting. When Lady Violet came after me, her expression changed to a mixture of various emotions, like confusion and nostalgia. I had my doubts, but they're really her. As expected, it was you guys. It's been a while, Burnt, Amber. Milady. Chapter 81, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _3. While Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber were holding their heads in the same pose, Gray came and brought tea with him, so we started sharing information with each other and fact-checking the rumors while drinking tea, which also served as a way to introduce Gray and calm them down. As a result, everything they thought was true turned out to be false, and most of what they thought were false turned out to be true. Why can't I just say that? Rumors are usually all like that. It's really strange. By the way, what are you guys going to do now? I did hear from Lord Clo that you would be staying at the inn. Yes, we plan to stay here for a while. To be honest, after hearing the rumors, we even thought about taking Milady to the Empire or Republic depending on the situation. After that, Mr. Burnt looked at me in Gray and then returned his gaze to Lady Violet. I am relieved to see you in good health, Milady. In this case, we don't even need to do anything. I see. Sorry for making you worry about my safety. However, the fact that they were willing to go abroad for Lady Violet, who's the daughter of their employer, makes me think that they really love her. When Lady Violet came to Shiki, she was accompanied by her father's people. They were sent here to monitor her and would never be on her side, and I had heard that those who were close to her to some extent weren't told where she went so she wouldn't cause unnecessary trouble. From these points, I knew that those two would be her close attendants. Milady will be cooking. Milady, who looked at me with disdainful eyes while saying that it wasn't something she was supposed to do when I offered to teach her how to cook. Sorry about that. I can tell that they're close with each other just by observing their conversation, but this is unexpected. This might sound rude, but I had thought that when she was at the capital, Lady Violet was strong-willed and stubborn and she didn't have many allies that she could call close friends, so I'm happy she had people she could talk to like this. Mr. Burnt, Ms. Amber, if you don't mind, would you like to stay at my mansion for the duration of your stay? I don't know how long you will be staying, but the longer you stay, the more you will spend on your accommodations. No, we can't possibly inconvenience you, don't hold back. This house is big, but it's only me, Lord Clo and Grey here. We have spare rooms too, so 2 more people won't cause any problems. Lady Violet, I think it'll be very hard for them to refuse if you word it that way. In fact, they look like they have a hard time. Wait, that's not the expression of refusal. It's not a troubled expression, but rather a surprised one. You 3 are the only ones in this mansion? Yes, I'm embarrassed to say that we don't have the luxury of hiring many people. Besides, it's not in my nature to have too many servants. Is that so? Ms. Amber asked as if she were confirming something. I don't know the details of how they came to serve in Duke Valentine's residence now, but the Duke's residence probably has dozens of servants residing in an even larger mansion than mine, so compared to that, it's true that it might be a strange sight to have Grey as the only attendant. What's more, Grey is actually my son, so it's questionable whether he can be called a servant. Milady, I heard earlier that you were doing the cooking, but do you perhaps also do the laundry and cleaning yourself too? Yeah. Everyone is responsible for cleaning their own rooms and washing their underwear, but we usually take turns. Milady does it herself. Come to think of it, Lady Violet has become quite used to doing housework like laundry and cleaning. I remember that she had a hard time in the beginning when she would end up making more mess after trying to clean in a hurry and burning cooking utensils when trying to cook. However, since Lady Violet was a fast learner, she got used to it fairly quickly. I used to say that it wasn't something I had to do, but now that I've tried it, it's surprisingly, this won't do. Fun. Perhaps Lady Violet's words were unexpected to them. They leaned forward again and started approaching us. What's with this really bad premonition I'm having? It feels like somebody who I thought was a normal person suddenly became unhinged. Chartreuse is the most recent example that comes to mind. Milady, it's fine to clean your own room to improve self-discipline. However, even though you're a baroness now, you are still a former daughter of a duke. As somebody of a noble birth, you should leave taking care of the surroundings to the servant. That's the reason for why we even exist. Be burnt. That's right. The way you space out for 5 minutes when you wake up in the morning, the way you started growing out your hair after you heard that His Highness liked long hair, the way you almost started crying when you were trying to overcome your hate for tomatoes. You should only show those weaknesses to servants close to you. Hey, stop it, Amber. Is that so? Lady Violet seemed level-headed in the mornings, but she had that kind of side to her too. And she actually used to hate tomatoes. Also, maybe they not only admire Lady Violet, they're also just. Since Lord Clo and Grey are men, they can't fully take care of you, milady. There are bound to be some tasks that you can't leave to someone of the opposite sex, such as changing your clothes, taking care of your hair and assisting you with bathing. No, nobody has assisted me with bathing ever since I was a child. We can't stay like this. Chapter 82, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _4. I, Amber Bulstrode, still don't trust the man called Clo Hartfield. I appreciate that you want to work for us, but are you really sure you want to do it? Lord Clo, we are of a much lower status than you. There is no need to talk to us with honorifics. Since you are our master as well, we will do anything you order us to. To start with, it would be unreasonable to expect me to trust a man who I've only met a few days ago. It's true that when I first saw him, he looked like a good person who lived in this area and it didn't seem like talking to him would cause any problems, but that's not enough reasons to let my guard down. According to the rumors, he's violent, lustful, and has relationships with many women. I also heard he is vain, arrogant, and jealous. Milady also said that rumors should only be used as a reference, but as long as there's fuel for those rumors to exist, we should be careful. Although Milady is less prickly as before, she's still acting resolutely, but it's possible that she's acting calm to avoid worrying us. There's also a chance that she's secretly under hypnosis due to some mental magic. If that's the case, my brother and I have to protect her. I understand. You will have to get used to honorifics gradually, but I would much appreciate it if you could please take care of Lady Violet's needs and help Grey instead of heeding my orders. It would be easier that way. I tried to act more eager, but it looks like Chloe Hartfield is different from the nobles I've served until now. If anything, it feels more appropriate to call him a family-oriented commoner who lives in a slightly wealthy family. In any case, for now I'll put all those aside and take care of Milady for the first time in a long while. Milady, Lady Violet Valentine, now known as Lady Hartfield. The former master of my brother and I, who's dignified, noble, full of beauty and talent and worthy of being the queen. Technically, we are serving Lady Violet's father, but that's irrelevant. I'm able to serve Milady again. There is no greater joy than this. Frankly speaking, I'm planning to fully understand the current situation at the Hartfield family over the next few days, quit the Valentine family and come here. I don't know yet whether I will also serve Chloe Hartfield as my master at that time or take Lady Violet with me, but I will enjoy this happiness first. I'll start with cleaning the mansion first. It's small compared to the Duke's residence, but it's spacious enough to need 3 people to clean it. Grey, who's treated as a secretary, is excellent at his work and takes meticulous care of the details, but has missed some things. All 3 of us must work together to create a space suitable for Milady to live in. My brother and I like cleanliness. In my case it's because there aren't any unnecessary odors in a well-cleaned space. To enjoy the fragrance that I love, the air, dust and humidity must be in perfect condition. Oh, Lord Burnt and Lady Amber do a wonderful job of cleaning. I could never come close to this level of perfection. Grey is quite good at giving compliments. His praise is pure, without any ulterior motives. He's not being calculating and manipulative. And I can also see that he's not just praising us, but is also trying to learn from us. He also seems to be a nobleman, but as expected, he's also not like other nobles. There are some nobles who serve as attendants when they are young, but in Grey's case, he feels more like a servant like us than a nobleman. And Grey always smells slightly sweet. It's a sweet fragrance stemming from the underdeveloped pheromones that's characteristic of boyhood and love for cleanliness. Later, when I teach him how to clean, I will get close to his body and enjoy the scent that comes directly from his body, after which I will enjoy the change in fragrance over time emitted from the things he wears. Sylvan, WTF. Next is cooking. I was shocked to hear that Milady herself had been cooking, but looks like even Chloe Hartfield cooks here. It's a given that the person of the lower status will be doing the cooking, so it's surprising that he would do it himself. But all of them seem to have similar proficiency. However, when it comes to cooking, my brother and I have no equals. Fufu, I was able to see Milady eat for the first time in a long while. Next comes laundry. At the Hartfield residence, everybody takes turns to do laundry except for their underwear. They typically deal with their own underwear themselves. It's like they take turns to make sure that nobody is washing the underwear of the opposite sex. I generally like the smell of sweat, but I prefer the smell of the washed clothes that are mixed with the smell of the sun. In order to enjoy that, I must wash each item separately. That being said, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of clothes that aren't expensive but are well tailored. I washed clothes of Chloe Hartfield and Grey one after another. They don't seem to be the types to pile up clothes, so it ended quickly. And finally came Milady's clothes. I can't believe this. I feel so much longing just because I haven't been able to touch them for a few months. I was prepared to not see her for a while when she started attending school, but she got married out of nowhere and I had no idea where or who she married to. Being unable to intake the new dose of Milady's essence for a while, I started developing Milady deficiency syndrome. Ha, ha, it's been a long time since I've touched clothes worn by Milady. Ha, ha. But what about now? It's been a long time since I've smelled Milady's raw fragrance and her fresh clothes in my hand. Milady is a wonderful person. She's beautiful enough that even I'm fascinated by her despite also being a woman. Her academic ability, mana, and athletic abilities are so refined that I could never match her. And more than anything, Milady's fragrance is the best out of all my previous masters. Ah, this isn't good. I have to endure it. Wasn't I also holding back at the Duke's residence? No, that was because Milady was always nearby, so I could always replenish on her essence, but can I actually manage to be patient while receiving her frontier irons at such a short distance for the first time in a while? No, I cannot. Ha, ha. I might as well just put it in my mouth, that's right. What if I just put it in mouth at once to hold back this feeling? Wouldn't I be able to replenish the lacking essence all at once by taking them in excessive amounts? No, calm down. This makes me sound like a pervert. I just like the fragrance emitted by humans and elves, and I'm no pervert by any means. It's not like I will feel the scent better just by putting it in my mouth anyway. Haha, I was totally out of my mind. Okay, I'll do it all at once. But my body doesn't do as I want it to. Ah, why? Why are Milady's minus irons so appealing? Please don't. My arm was grabbed and Chloe Hartfield stopped me from bringing Milady's clothes closer. That's strange. I was paying close attention to make sure that nobody else was here, but I didn't notice his presence. Could a ninja from the Eastern Country have disguised themselves as Chloe Hartfield? Is something wrong, Lord Chloe? Please don't act innocent. What were you trying to do with Lady Violet's clothes? Tasting. Please don't say it as if you were taste-testing wine. Ms. Amber, you simply adore Lady Violet, right? Chloe Hartfield looked at me suspiciously and asked me a question. How rude. When you look at me like that, it almost makes me seem like a pervert. Fine, I'll dispel those doubts of yours. My brother and I adore Milady. Yes. The reason why we first started admiring Lady Violet was simple, because she did not consider us disposable. We have served many people since we were children, but even a slight mistake would result in unreasonable violence in the name of punishment or discipline, and we would easily be fired. However, while the Valentine family was strict, they weren't unreasonable and we received sufficient compensation for our conduct. When it was decided that we would serve as Milady's attendants, we decided to do our best to live up to the expectations. Okay. I can see well that you two are excellent at your work and that Lady Violet trusts you a lot. Thank you very much. It's embarrassing to be told so again, but let's leave it at that. Nor was it about the fact that Milady had made a friend around her age, which made me both discontent and happy at the same time. It was about the aforementioned resident friend. What manner of creature is she? Hey, Sister Cyan. Has anything been troubling you lately? Chem? Oh, Io. Hi. I can't say there is. Hup. I see. If there is, then don't hesitate to let me know. Gotcha. By the way, who's the guy with you? He was my attendant back in the Valentine mansion. We've been reunited after some time, and he's been helping me with my work. Oh. I'll come greet him later. Until then. High up. Sister Cyan climbed the church wall barehanded and proceeded to fix the roof tiles. She happens to be the only nun in this land and a battle-type one at that. I've heard she teaches the kids the alphabet, keeps them entertained and is also a friend of Milady's. But what exactly is a battle-type nun? She'd apparently place in the top 3 among the residents, in regards to pure combat strength without any magic buffs. I would have expected that much from a battle-type nun. But seriously, what does it mean? That aside, I find it a little annoying that she scaled the church wall so effortlessly and neatly. I heard all about you. That you were Violet's battle knight. I am Apricot, the magnificent mage who rules over the dark and fleeting light. I welcome you into my brethren. Watch out, Milady. It could be some new manner of mental attack. It's okay. She only means to say, I heard you were a servant of Violet's. I'm a mage who can expertly wield both dark and fire magic, and I also happen to be Grey's master. Nice to meet you. MMPH, I see you're starting to understand me, Lady Violet. Apparently Milady is good friends with the girl who spouts nonsense too. I rather wish Milady would maintain her distance from nutjobs like Apricot, but she seems to be the best mage in this domain, and her destructive power is apparently so great that her name has gone down in the annals of the Academy's history. Moreover, she appears to be one of the top 3 cooks in Shiki, and her clothing are all supposedly handmade. As such, I hear there's a lot one could learn from her. But I'm still not altogether convinced. Plus, the residents only get weirder. Hee hee, Violet. Could you pass these along to Chloe? It's his share. Sure. Thanks, Orchid. Your vegetables and mushrooms are really delicious. We appreciate you always giving us some. The very suspicious-looking dark mage was apparently one of the good Samaritans living here. Are you hurt? You're hurt, right? Rest assured. You're in good hands now that I'm here. In fact, I'll fix you up so well, you'll be as good as new. His treatment methods and the noises he makes are certainly something. He's so skilled at his job that it almost feels like his noises are some kind of rhythm he's working to. The doctor with questionable conduct and expressions seems to be among the top healers in the kingdom. Hey! The medicine prescribed to you should be running out or expiring soon. I had your prescription refilled. Oh, I appreciate it. Sorry, but I'll have to compensate you later. Also take this medicine, it helps you puke your guts out, and this, it helps you enjoy the prickling tingling sensation that comes after numbness. No, thanks. Those just sound like poison. Upon Milady's refusal, the apothecary, poison-resistant, who swallowed said poisons, was also apparently quite skilled. Hello, that's a face I haven't seen around here. Oh, yeah, you are the one who was Violet's servant before she came here. Nice to meet you. Call me Robot. Here, take a cannelli as a welcome gift. Also, what exactly is that? Why is that strange life form strutting about the town like normal? It also appears to be on good terms with Milady. Though I could never take a liking to its broken speech, its mechanical and whirring sounds filled my heart with joy for some reason. It may very well be romanticism, but I felt like it had walked straight out of the storybooks I used to read as a child, and it filled me with strange admiration. There was no end to the weirdos. Someone who kisses the vegetables they pick up. A 7-year-old kid who looks like an adult. A gigantic man who loves exercising and muscles. A man, presumably in his 40s, with handmade bunny ears on his head. A woman who breathes heavily at the sight of knives. A man who could only talk about love, etc. There were still a lot of things Milady wasn't accustomed to, but I smiled, pleased that her world was expanding. She may have changed and lost some of her dignity as a noble, but seeing her smile only brings me joy. That said, I'm glad to see that the thing I like about her hasn't changed. It calls for a celebration all the more. In the few months I was separated from Milady, my yearning for her grew stronger with every passing day. I had steeled myself when I realized I wouldn't be able to see Milady for a while she attended the academy, but she had gotten married before I knew it, and I also had no knowledge of the location of her new home. Some months passed this way, and unable to get a fresh regular dose of Milady, I was suffering from a severe case of Milady deficiency. Ha, ha, hearing Milady's voice in person after so long, ha, ha. However, now it's different. Blessed with Milady's voice after an eternity, I now hold a magic tool, a sound source capable of temporarily holding a recording of Milady's voice. Even this little outing was very fruitful in that I was able to record various different sounds from Milady. Milady is a wonderful person. She has the kind of beauty that inspires respect rather than lust in me, someone of the opposite sex. Her academic, magic and athletic abilities are leagues superior to the likes of me. Also, of no lesser importance by any means, the sounds that escape Milady's lips are more heavenly than anyone I've ever served could produce. Milady's voice, her heartbeat, the sound of her hair fluttering in the wind, the sound of the touch of her slender, pretty fingers. Any and all sounds of hers are absolutely breathtaking. Ah, this won't do. I need to control myself. Haven't I persevered since my days of serving Milady in the Duke's mansion? No, wait. Back then I was always by Milady's side, so I had a steady supply of her sound. Can I even hold back now that I've heard Milady's flux sound in such close quarters? No, I can't. Ha, ha. Might as well just swallow. No, stop. Calm down. What's the use of holding the magic recording tool in my mouth? Wait, sound is made up of vibrations. By letting the vibrations oscillate through my body, I could feel and be healed by them from within, wouldn't I? I see, then it can't be helped. In that case, it wouldn't be too strange to down it in one gulp. Yeah, one gulp it is. My body listens to my demands and I attempt to swallow the recording device with Milady's voice in one breath. Ah, why? Why is it that the sound of Milady's heartbeat so bewitching? Please don't do it. What? I was interrupted by Chloe Hartfield just as I was about to do the deed. He grasped my arm to stop me. This is strange. I ensured there was nobody else in the vicinity so no other sound would mix into and contaminate Milady's. Nor did I feel anyone's presence. And yet, how did Chloe Hartfield come to be here? Lord Chloe, is something the matter? Don't give me that. What exactly were you trying to do with the magic tool that contains Lady Violet's voice? I was thinking of finding a place for Milady's voice in my body. I regret to inform you that's probably impossible. If I may clarify something, am I right in assuming that your affections for Lady Violet don't go beyond what's considered appropriate? Chloe Hartfield looked at me with slightly weary eyes and a suspicious expression on his face. How rude. His suspicious gaze makes me look like a pervert. Well then, I should dispel him of any such delusions. My sister and I adore Milady. All right. Chloe Hartfield replied after a strange pause and listened to my side of the story. I told him about why my sister and I adore Milady. I told him about how among all the nobility we had served, not many were actually noble in the true sense of the word. And though House Valentine was strict, it was never unreasonable. And how Milady, as the daughter of the Duke, had spared no effort to be a worthy future queen. And how we had first treated Milady as someone living on a plane far elevated from us mere mortals, until we witnessed Milady crying in her room alone. And how that moment made us realize that we had been seeing Milady through rose-tinted glasses. When we assured Milady that she should feel free to tell us anything or even whine, Milady had buried her face on my sister's chest and silently shed tears. That's when a thought crossed my mind. Ah, what a wonderful voice. It's just as I suspected. I wonder what exactly it is that he suspects. Continuing on, the moment I heard Milady's cries, my needlessly sharp ears found the sounds escaping Milady's lips wonderful. That is when my sister and I made up our minds. Starting then, we decided we would do everything to help Milady. That we'd serve her to the best of our abilities so she may be a regal and authoritative queen. When I realized that by doing so, I'd be able to enjoy her magnificent sound at any time, my world changed completely. I love the sound of Milady's resolute voice the most. I love the sound of Milady's rapid heartbeat and quick breathing that can be heard when she's sweating away training. I love the sound of warm sighs that escape Milady's lips after a bath she takes at the end of a long day to refresh and to maintain her beauty. I love the sound of Milady's pen scratching away at her paper during her sleepless nights of study and her appreciative tone when I enter the room with refreshments. I love any and all manner of sounds that Milady produces. I thank my lucky stars for this opportunity to be able to serve such an amazing lady. We have wondered why we love Milady so wholeheartedly. But at some point we had found the answer. We love Milady precisely because she's an aristocrat and a dignified one at that. And that is why I decided to serve my majestic lady. I'm second to none in my adoration for Milady. Not even my sister. Maybe it's because they are twins, but they are both unhinged in different yet similar ways. Again, how rude. You're making my sister and I out to be some kind of perverts. Alternate title: Innately Abnormal Brother. Amber Bulstrode height, around 160 cm. Hair color, burnt umber eye color. Amber age, 24 years. Species, half-elf fetish. Smells, limited to body odors. Burnt Bulstrode height, around 170 cm. Hair color, burnt umber eye color. Burnt umber age, 24 years. Species, half-elf fetish. Body sounds, heartbeat, voice and so on. Chapter 84, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _6. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber are siblings that are very good at their jobs. They can clean faster than us, and even their finish is beautiful. Even though we use the same ingredients, the food they make has a deeper flavor and is much more delicious. In addition, they do household chores as quietly as possible to not disturb us while we're working, and they do it flawlessly, with no unnecessary movements. That's fine. Their professionalism is a result of years of hard work serving others. It looks like Lady Violet trusts both Mr. Burnt, who's a man, and Ms. Amber, who's a woman, equally, and Gray also said that he wanted to learn how servants worked. That's all fine. But I want them to know this. I think it's safe to say that people who get excited by sounds and scents are perverts. Haha, you must be joking. In my room, where neither Lady Violet nor Gray were present, I explained what I had seen to Ms. Burnt and Ms. Amber, and they laughed out of courtesy, thinking that I, their master, was making a joke. But I'm sorry, I wasn't joking. I also have favorite smells and sounds. It's perverted, but I also like Lady Violet's fragrance and voice. But it doesn't arouse me sexually, that much. At the very least, I don't try to bury my face in her worn clothes and sniff them, and I don't get heavily excited about the idea of putting them in my mouth. I don't get excited at the sound of her heartbeat and her bones rattling. Furthermore, I don't think about keeping recorded sounds inside my body. I'm not saying that being a pervert is bad. But what's bad is for the people in question to act in a perverted manner without realizing it, and as a result, harm the person who's become the target of their aforementioned perversion. I would like to avoid letting Lady Violet get traumatized, but I feel like their interest is extending to Gray too, so I want them to have more self-awareness. I don't want my family to be hurt. We aren't even excited, right, brother? Yeah, exactly. We both love Milady's sound and fragrance, but there is no way it would excite us, Lord Clo. That's right. We would never lust for somebody as noble as Milady. We have inherited sharp senses from our half-elf blood. Brother has keen hearing, while I have an outstanding sense of smell. Other than that, we are not much different from humans, so our sharp senses have become more sensitive. That's why we end up reacting to good sounds and scents. Oh, I see. This is the reason why Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber don't think that they're perverts. They think that they simply like sounds and scents and don't realize that they get aroused by them. I think this problem would have been solved in a second if I could use a video camera to show them how they acted in the moment, but there are no small machines that could record images in this world. Robot might have something similar though. I can imagine her having some incomprehensible functions. I see. Then please let me ask you a question. If you find it difficult to answer, you don't have to answer. Ms. Amber, if you think that this is sexual unpleasant sexual behavior, you can refuse to answer. This is not an order. Yes, it's fine. I shall answer everything sincerely, without hiding anything. Even if it is temporary, you are our master, Lord Clo. I am not going to say that I was improperly victimized. Their spirit is admirable, but if this had been a Japanese company in my previous life, that would have been an extremely dangerous statement. Pondering things like, I started the confirmation process, in the form of asking questions. Impossible. Are you saying that I was aroused by Milady's voice and the sound coming from her body? Impossible. Are you saying that I was aroused by Milady's fragrance? After an hour of questioning, Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber had their hands on the ground in a devastated pose and appeared to be shocked by their own actions. They didn't believe me at first, but perhaps thanks to having worked at Shiki for a while, when I compared them to the residents of Shiki and confirmed their actions and how they felt in the moment, they gradually became less talkative. They eventually finally realize how people around them would evaluate their actions. I feel a bit complicated that comparing them to the Shiki residents worked the most though. Ha! Brother, does this mean that we've been acting in a perverted manner towards Milady until now? Ha! No way, Amber. Milady was degraded and had her engagement with His Highness Vermilion broken because we did something disrespectful. No, that was because Lady Violet got jealous of that other girl and went on a rampage, so it had nothing to do with you guys. I can't believe our actions caused Milady's dignity to fall. In that case, there's only one thing we can do, Amber. Yes, brother. I understand. I have a bad feeling about this. Milady should be the one to judge us, at least. Yes, let's confess everything and be executed. Please wait. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber tried to run towards Lady Violet as soon as they made up their minds, so I grabbed the back collar of their butler and made uniforms that they had apparently brought themselves and stopped them. If I didn't stop them, they'd probably really go to talk with her. And if they didn't get executed, they might really end up cutting their stomachs themselves. Please let us go, Lord Clo. At least when I die, I want to meet my end while surrounded by Milady's noble scent. That's right. I want Milady's noble voice to be the last one I hear. I want to meet my end while surrounded by Milady's heartbeat. So please let me go. Ah, but brother, won't Milady give off a different scent while looking down on us? You're right. I want to hear Milady's voice as she completely scorns us. Hey, why are you guys secretly trying to fulfill your own desires? Or rather, I'm not going to let Lady Violet do that kind of thing. If servants who've served you for many years were to die while aroused by your voice and smell until the very end, you might end up traumatized for the rest of your life. To start with, if perverted conduct was enough to get you executed, most of Shiki residents would be goners. True. I can't believe they were actually convinced. But I did say it because I thought it was true, so I'm glad I was able to stop their rampage. For now I have to make them calm down, not deny their love for scents and sounds, and explain that while some people might call them perverts, I don't want them to deny what they love. Besides, if you guys get executed, you won't be able to fulfill your purpose of protecting and transporting me, Lady Violet and Grey. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber froze up at my words. Chapter 85, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _7. At first I thought that it was just a vacation. I thought that since they loved Lady Violet so much and were worried about the rumors, I thought they wanted to be by her side even if they had to use up their rest days. Next, I thought that they were observing us. I thought that perhaps they would observe us in those few days and decide whether they would take Lady Violet away or come to Shiki to work for us depending on the circumstances. In the end it turned out that I was right on both accounts. But apart from that, I also found out that they had received an order from the Valentine family. Lady Violet doesn't know this yet, but they have been put in charge of guarding and transporting us for our next scheduled trip to the capital, or more concretely, to the Azalea Academy School Festival. That's right. I must fulfill my duty for Milady's sake. If we do anything wrong at this time of the year, Milady will be forcibly taken away. If this was just an invitation sent to somebody related to the academy, they would have sent a word to the Valentine family or my parental house to not come. But since this is a royal invitation, functionally an imperial edict, they can't ignore it either. Rather, not going would look worse. Since they found out about Lady Violet's whereabouts through rumors, they probably wanted to make up a purpose and make it easier for other watchdogs to have a grasp of her actions rather than antagonize her by acting out. If that happens, my duties will be lifted, my actions will be restricted and I will never be able to smell Milady's fragrance, so I have to endure it. If we don't look for a better timing, her reputation might be damaged. I don't want to hear an anxious sound from Milady. Well, Valentine family probably couldn't even imagine that they had those kinds of fetishes and loved Lady Violet enough that they would contemplate taking her away. Lord Clo, it's okay now, so can you please let us go? Ah, yes. After they regained their composure at my words, I let go of their collars. I'm glad they didn't go crazy in a weird way. For the time being I need both of them to control their emotions. By the way, Lord Clo, are you wearing some kind of perfume? After I let them go and they turned to face me again, I was worried about what to start talking about, when Ms. Amber asked me with a questioning look on her face. No, not really. Do I smell weird by chance? My apologies. That is not the case. I just smelled a strangely good smell when you grabbed me just now. Is that so? I smell good. I don't get told that much about this. But unfortunately I don't use perfume. I sometimes wear a light fragrance in social situations, but it's too expensive to use on a daily basis and I'm not a big fan of it either. I've just finished working outside, so I had expected that Ms. Amber, who has a keen sense of smell, would hate it instead. I don't know what to think about this. I have a bad feeling, as if something that I know is impossible is going to happen. Lord Clo, may I ask you a question? Yes, go ahead. Then, Mr. Burnt also asked a question, as if Ms. Amber's question had also made him question something, or as if he had realized something. Lord Clo, you usually use honorifics not only with us, but also with Milady, but that is not the case with everybody, correct? Well, yes. I don't use honorifics with people like Grey and Cyan. In other words, you talk with them with the same voice and tone as the "hey now" you said a moment ago. Embarrassingly enough, you would be right. I see. You have a nice voice, Lord Clo. Well, thank you very much. Where did this come from so suddenly? Okay, really, where are they going with this? I have a really bad premonition. I feel like I'm in the kind of danger where I have to get away from them right this instant. I feel a great need to tell them that they're misunderstanding something. Despite my bad premonition, Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber made eye contact for some reason and had a silent conversation, after which they nodded to each other and turned towards me. Lord Clo, may I suggest something? Whether I accept or not depends on the suggestion itself, but please go ahead. We love Milady. This is a fact unrelated to her scent or sound. This is something I want you to understand very well. Yes. After seeing that situation, I'm not sure if I can agree without hesitation, but I do understand that. Sounds and scents might have been a part of the reason why they were so enthusiastic to serve Valentine family, but they continued to support Lady Violet so she could become the mother of the nation, due to their strong feelings of admiration towards her, rather than a sense of duty or leaving things to a chance, and Lady Violet came to trust them as well. However, it is also true that we like scents and sounds. We have come to a realization with your words, Lord Clo, but if we keep suppressing our desires while interacting with Milady, we will surely lose control one day. More specifically, I will bury my face in Milady's body to listen to the sounds inside her through my whole body, and my sister will continue to hug Milady and take deep breaths. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be a problem. Mr. Burnt is completely out of question, and while Ms. Amber might be a girl, that would be dangerous in various ways. And if this did happen, Lady Violet would most likely start to feel afraid of interacting with others. Therefore, we had an idea. In order to stop ourselves from running out of control, we should replenish our deficits every now and then in small quantities. Replenish in small quantities? Yes. By the way, Lord Clo, I was so distracted by Milady's fragrance that I didn't notice it, but you also smell good. Just like Milady and Grey. Pardon? And you also have a nice voice. Just like Milady and Grey. I see, so this is what they're implying. You want to use Grey and me to split the objects of your desires. Is that what you are trying to say? Yes. You are absolutely right. Don't you? Yes, you're absolutely right, me, you freaks. Have their desires become more pronounced as a result of them becoming self-aware? If that's what happens, is it my fault? Won't your desires only grow if the number of targets increases? Just like opium. No, it's important to replenish, no matter how small. It's something like water to us. We don't need a surplus. I see. If an action window appeared right now, it would probably be fight, run away, persuade. If it was Ms. Creamhild, who's the heroine of Ring of Fire, her choices might have been, is your head okay? Alright, come on. If you beat me in a fight, I'll fulfill your wish. The correct answer in this case is probably the third one. Alright, why don't I use her as an example? If you beat her, me in a fight, I will fulfill your wish. If I win, you will ask the residents of Shiki to work together with you and find a way to help you endure your urges, and until I decide that your problem has been solved, I will not let you get close to Lady Violet and Grey. By the way, the same will happen if you refuse combat. What if we win? I will provide you with my voice and scent in any situation you like. Other than that, I will make sure that you can work in the same room as Lady Violet and Grey during your stay, and I will let you stay as close to us as possible during escorting missions. Please refrain from touching anyone other than me as much as possible though. Let's do it. We are trained to protect Milady, we will not go easy on you. Alright, it was the right choice. As expected from Ms. Creamhild, in my mind. If I imagine what kind of choice she would make, things seem to go pretty well. I kind of feel like this is just my imagination, but I must be imagining it. Then, there was a knock on the door, and when I replied that it was okay to come in, Lady Violet entered the room. I'm sorry, Lord Clo. I can't seem to find Burnt and Amber. Oh, you guys were here? Burnt, Amber, it's almost time for dinner, but nobody seems to have prepared anything. Should we do the preparations? My deepest apologies, milady. Right now we have to participate in a battle that we cannot afford to lose. We will prepare dinner after that. Amber. Milady, I won't lose. I cannot afford to lose in order to protect my dignity. Burnt. What's going on, Lord Clo? Something seems strange, Lady Violet. I won't lose. I will win this battle for the sake of our family. Lord Clo? After agreeing with Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber, who had their heads bowed, and looking at me, Lady Violet turned on her heel and left for the dining room with "We're having an extravagant feast today." Wait. What was that just now? Isn't that unfair? Once again, I would like to express my gratitude. Pardon? I held my cheeks that seemed to be loosening and responded to Miss Amber's words while remaining as calm as possible. It's frustrating, but my brother and I wouldn't be able to see Milady smiling like that. We loved the way Milady was before, so we didn't even think about changing her. Yes, we never thought that a day would come when Milady would be able to show such expressions and emotions so audaciously. But, they paused and muttered quietly as if they were talking to themselves and not me. I loved how noble Milady was before, but I love the way Milady is now even more. Me too. Right now Milady is overflowing with a different kind of charm and I love it. Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber looked somewhat happy as they looked at where Lady Violet was headed. I felt somewhat happy and relieved about that and was about to reply that I was glad for them, when, also, Milady's fragrance mixed with the scent of seasonings after cooking, is very good. I want to enjoy it from up close even more. Milady's joyfully bouncing voice and footsteps are simply wonderful. I want to hear it from up close even more. They really had to ruin it at the very end. After that, he seems to have fallen in love with Mary like His Highness, and I often see them together. However, while I didn't see it directly because I was back at my parents' house, he seemed to have done something terrible to Vi during the duel, so I don't like him as well. He has changed a bit since the Shiki investigation, so it's okay, but I still feel somewhat uncomfortable with him. Also, he sometimes looks at me with strangely wary eyes. Next is Chartres Calvin. He's the son of the current Knight Commander and an arch-wizard. He's a handsome boy with dark green hair and chartreuse-colored eyes, with unparalleled fighting ability among us. He also has a good voice. When he first enrolled, Char was wrapped in an aura that kept others at bay more than His Highness. It was only recently that I often saw him interacting with others to improve himself. The way he strives to become Knight Commander is simple-minded, but brilliant and draws in people around him. The biggest reason why he changed is, as expected, Mary. She kept talking to Char, who was unfriendly and rarely interacted with anybody other than His Highness and Ash. She would sometimes take him out to the city to interact with him more. As a result, she closed the emotional distance between them and he started to open up his heart to her, after which he started taking initiative to communicate with others as well. There's another well-known story within the academy about how Mary's group was attacked by a B-rank monster during an off-campus training session. During that incident she got injured while protecting a classmate, and Char rushed over to defeat the monster alone. If you look at them from the side, they look like good rivals who mutually encourage each other to improve, and Char's awkward yet straightforward way of telling her that he would become a man worthy of her earned him popularity among the female students of the academy. That being said, I don't like how he held Vi down more than necessary during the duel and treated her like an object. When I interacted with him, he turned out to be a more honest type. I wonder if it's because of his personality that I stopped caring about those things. There are other famous people too. Senior Eccles, a handsome glasses-wearing older brother-type senior from a grade above, who's a member of Earl Forsyth's family. The story of him scooping up Mary in a princess hold in public after she broke her leg and taking her to the infirmary is still being talked about among female students as a fairy tale-like event. He also has a good voice. Silver Seyfried, a commoner like me, who's in the same grade, but is cute like a young brother. He used to be gloomy because he was being shunned due to him being able to use cursed magic, but he became cheerful thanks to Mary. We also now know the thing about the curse was a lie. Now, he's loved as a hard worker, and is quite popular. He has a nice, cute voice. And then there's Mary. Chapter 89, still too nervous to replenish the supplies after this. *sob***, what happened? When I arrived at the church to give the final confirmation to Father about the management for while I would be away, Cyan was crying. She had tears in her eyes, which she was wiping with her hands, and her nose was also runny. Although I was confused that Cyan, who was always strong-willed and rarely ever cried, was crying, my hunch as her friend of several years was telling me that the matter wasn't actually serious enough to have a lasting effect on her. Did you try to appeal to Father by helping him with managing Shiki, only to be left in charge of the church and separated from him? No, that wasn't it. Recently, Cyan seemed to be enthusiastic about taking this chance to get closer to Father, so I was sure it had something to do with that. I was rooting for her, but everybody around could see that she wouldn't be able to do anything as usual. I thought I could finally get closer to the Father, but I was also called to the capital. What? Cyan was summoned to the capital? If Cyan, who was sent to Shiki after hitting the Archbishop while serving as a sister in the capital, was called back. So, you're finally getting executed, huh? If that happens, I'll tell them that we are such excellent friends, enough for us to be in the capital together. Stop it. If you do that, I'll tell them why you want to stay here. Don't. All right. Enough jokes. If we mess up, even Father might get executed. If that happens, my position that's already not good will become even worse. Besides, we never met in the capital. For now she seems to have enough energy to throw a joke back at me. In that case, she wasn't sad because she would be punished if she went to the capital, but she was simply crying because she didn't want to be separated from the Father. But still, why now? You've never been called back until now, right? Apparently they're inviting church officials from around here to hold an event at Azalea Academy's school festival. Important people from foreign countries are also coming, so they want to make it look like the people involved with the state religion are well educated. Are you serious? From what I've heard, they make a bigger group than usual sing hymns at the school festival. They lined them up as extras in plays and asked them to perform readings and confessions. In other words, they want to create a buzz by inviting real church officials to the school festival, a level of publicity that can even attract people who aren't interested in the church. And, while it depends on the size of the town, it seems that at least one person is always called as representative from each town. That's what Cyan seems to have been chosen as. If they want a representative, wouldn't Father be, don't tell me it's because I left him in charge so that's why? It might sound rude, but Cyan is definitely far from what the general public imagines as a sister. I thought that it would be better for the academy to call the Father as a representative instead of Cyan, but maybe Father refused them because we left him in charge of managing Shiki. Thinking so, I felt apologetic, but Cyan shook her head and denied it. No, I was nominated, or more like, they didn't want Father to go more than they didn't want me to go. That seems to be the reason there was no summoning notice until the last minute. In other words, yes. It's probably because if he went, the status of those greedy fools in power would be in jeopardy. The priest of Shiki, Father Snow White, is an undeniably honest priest with no shred of perverted tendencies. I have never seen a more admirable priest than him. He's been in Shiki longer than Cyan. He helps those in trouble with no hesitation, immediately agrees to requests, fights against monsters with no fear for his life and saves others without discrimination if they are in need. He would do so regardless of if they have committed a crime in the past. However, he doesn't simply just accept everybody, as he will admonish those he deems evil and will even fight them in some cases. Because he saved too many people, he was loved by many and shunned by the church officials. He would only accept donations and nothing more, never asking for compensation to save people. Because he adhered to the doctrine of saving others too much, he was treated as a powerful being who could not be manipulated with money, honor, or status by the powerful people of the church and sent to Shiki. It's an incomprehensible decision to exclude somebody who adheres to the doctrine, but as long as the father in question only consents with, if such is the God's guidance, I can't talk too strongly about it. Shit, those damn power-hungry hyenas. I'll punch them all next time. Stop it. If you do that, you'll really get executed. When I stopped her, Cyan replied with just kidding, as she sat down on the church bench improperly, with her legs folded in a triangle. Because of her outfit, it was a dangerous pose, but I'm already too used to her to worry about it. Still, I'll move a bit to make sure that I don't see anything. Anyway, so you're coming with us tomorrow too, Cyan? Yeah, it seems like it. If possible, I'd like to stay at you guys' lodging. Would that be okay? It seems that Cyan doesn't want to stay at the lodgings prepared by the other side if possible. The provided accommodation would probably be the church or a housing for church personnel. Cyan, who has no good memories of the capital, probably doesn't want to stay there. But, since she also knows our situation, she's hesitating to just carelessly barge in. There's a possibility that we might be staying at the Valentine family after all. It's fine, we're just staying at a hotel. You'll either stay in Lady Violet's room or Grey will come to my room and you'll stay in his room. Is that so? Then, I can impose on you. I don't mind. Just get permission from either of them. After responding to my words with understood, seeming to have thought that there was no point in cowering, she sprung up from the bench and straightened her back. Okay then. I guess I'll have to get ready for tomorrow already. Get ready for tomorrow? Did you even have any luggage to bring to the capital? Phut. Ah, that laugh pisses me off as usual. Hey. Cyan pointed at me with her finger, struck a pose and announced what she was about to do. Isn't it a given? I have to replenish my supply of father's essence, since I won't see him for a while. Don't try to put dirty clothes in your mouth or put the recording equipment that you use to record sounds inside your body like my acquaintances. Ahahaha, there's no way I would, acquaintances? So somebody actually tried to do that. Yeah, and they're pretty close. The perverts who you call with familiarity, Bernie and Amby. Chapter 90, Expression Grey. Are you also going to the capital, Lady Apricot? Yeah, that's right, my disciple. Dusk in winter when the days were getting shorter. I received a joyful report from Lady Apricot, who visited my house looking as beautiful and dignified as ever, wearing a cloak that made her look like a black witch. Apparently, Lady Apricot would also be coming to the capital with us. Normally, the space distortion stone, the warp stone, requires an application and funds, so even if we went together, we would have to go to the capital separately. It was thanks to Lord Ash's kindness that she is now able to use it and come to the capital with us. In other words, the implication is something like, why not come and observe the school festival and consider enrolling? I have to thank Lord Ash for this. However, I remember you said that the capital is a corrupt space dominated by the conspiracies of many races and it didn't suit you. I certainly said so. But sometimes it is also important to be broad-minded. It is possible that a new path of magic can appear in a place seething with grudges. I see. I expected nothing less from you, Lady Apricot. I don't really understand it, but I guess it means that there are some things you can see only when you go to places that don't fit you. I've heard that there is a training method that involves using magic of other attributes in order to improve one's magical aptitude, so it must be something like that. Probably. Foo. Besides, I've heard that there is a devil cry of endless battle at the school festival, where the outsiders can also participate. It would not be a bad idea to participate and show off my power. You will definitely be the winner, Lady Apricot. Foo, do not praise me too much. But one must be careful to not be arrogant. Even the rulers and gods of the past have ended up perishing because they let their guards down. Oh, my apologies, I did not consider that far. Do not worry about it. You just have to make use of this experience in the future. Lady Apricot. Ah, what a reliable person she is. She possesses a different kind of strength than Lord Clo and Lady Violet. She always shows me different worlds. I'm sure she'll show me new and fun things in the capital and at the academy this time too. You really do like Apricot, Grey. Just as I was enjoying a conversation with Lady Apricot, Lady Amber, who was brewing tea instead of me, said with a smile on her face. Yes, of course. Lady Apricot is an important person for me as a mentor both in magic and life. Ah, you even made tea for me. Thank you very much. Phoo, good answer, my disciple. Ah, thank you for the tea. My feelings are closer to respect than love, but it doesn't change the fact that I like her. When I honestly admitted my affection, Lady Apricot looked satisfied and bowed without forgetting to say thank you. Besides, I also have other goals in mind besides the school festival. Oh, what do you mean? The capital's cuisine is popular. I also plan to explore novel flavors using new seasonings that are not readily available in Shiki. You do love cooking, Lady Apricot. If you cook half-heartedly, your mana also won't be good. I am not going to force you, but you should also try to improve a little, my disciple. Your cooking doesn't taste very good. Still, I think everybody would be worse compared to you, Lady Apricot. I don't know anybody who's better than you. I don't know many chefs outside Shiki, but Lady Apricot's cooking skills are unmistakably among the top class in Shiki. I admire her skills because she's able to produce anything from delicate flavors to deep flavors and ask her to teach me occasionally, but unfortunately, I can't seem to improve. Although Lady Apricot told me with a kind expression that the more I'll practice the better I'll become. As I was sipping my tea, I suddenly noticed that Lady Amber's expression was more grim than usual. It's unusual for Lady Amber to have that kind of look on her face. Grey, are Apricot's cooking skills that good? Yes, to the point that Lady Violet thought it was delicious and asked her to teach her. Ms. Violet improves quickly, so it's worth teaching her. Is that so? Lady Violet, who lived in the city, also praised Lady Apricot's cooking, saying that it was on par with the city's chefs. I'm sure her skills will stand out in other places as well. Well, even I can't compete with my disciples' skills in brewing tea and coffee. Even with the same leaves and beans, they taste different when brewed by my disciple. Lady Amber's expression became even more mysterious as she thanked Lady Apricot with much more fervor. Thank you so much. Come to think of it, I also think that Milady scent, expression, is the best when Grey's the one who brews tea instead of me and my brother. Maybe she also prefers Apricot's cooking more than mine. Just as I thought that she had a mysterious expression on her face, she put her hand on her chin and took a thinking pose. She was perhaps pondering something. But, as if she couldn't put her thoughts together well just in her mind, she muttered something quietly. Could it be that I wasn't able to bring out the best fragrance, expression, Milady could ever produce? I don't know why, but for some reason it seems like Lady Amber was going in a strange direction. Apricot. Why yeah. What's wrong, Ms. Sunshine? You're suddenly very close. Lady Amber suddenly approached Lady Apricot, grabbed her shoulders and drew closer. Even Lady Apricot couldn't hide the confusion in her voice and expression due to this sudden development. Is it just my imagination, or was Lady Amber referred to as something strange just now? I will pay if need be. Please teach me how to cook. I don't really need money, but what happened so suddenly? I am embarrassed of myself. Until now I thought that I was able to draw out the best fragrance from that person with my cooking, but I realized that maybe that was just my complacency. Ms. Amber, what do you mean by drawing out fragrance? I was also at a loss by her sudden change, unable to do anything. How strange. What happened for this woman, who's usually calm, except for when she occasionally hugs me, to change so much? In other words, I would like to improve my cooking skills for Milady's sake. I would like to ask you to teach me. I don't mind if that's the case, but I've heard that you're quite skilled. What should I teach you? Specifically, Please let me smell you while you're cooking, apricot. I will steal your cooking skills with the taste of your scent. What are you talking about? I wonder what's driving Lady Amber. I would love to get her help in dealing with them, but I think they are problems I need to somehow resolve using my own strength. We especially can't afford to screw things up with the sender, who might try to make life difficult for us. Thanks, robot. I'll request your help if there's an emergency, but other than that, those issues are something we need to resolve by ourselves. I know. But I want you to remember, if my precious friend is in a crisis, then I won't just stand still twiddling my thumbs. Friend. I'll admit it makes me happy to hear that. If possible, the best solution would be to take shelter somewhere safe like one's parents' home until the storm passes, but I'm grateful for this opportunity to learn who our allies are. Even if Robot only considers Lady Violet a friend, it still makes me happy. Robot nodded in affirmation and continued to talk as if she were merely laying out facts. I just have to cause an uproar by unleashing maximum cluster cannon upon your signal with enough vigor to usurp the throne. Knock it off. You're scaring me because I wouldn't put it past you to do something like that. I feel like at the end you just say, "Ack." Seeing as they've driven us into a corner, there's only one way out of this. Time to blow myself up. I totally would. I'd come back to life, though. So you would. And you'd also come back to life. I can't tell if she's serious or joking because she's speaking normally, but for the love of God she's gotta stop. I do appreciate that she'd go that far for us, though. According to the events in that Otome game, Ring of Fire, the dragon slumbering in the depths of the academy is supposed to wake up sometime soon. Even so, I wish Robot would stop trying to take its place in plunging the citizens of the kingdom in fear. If something like that happens, then us and all of Shiki's residents would end up being fugitives. Then, you make sure to stand firm so that doesn't come to pass, alright? Well, if she threatens, cheers for me like that, then I gotta do my best. There are a lot of pressing issues like the sender of the invitation, the love interest starting from High Highness Vermilion, the hostile academy students, House Valentine, and last but not the least, Lady Violet's worst enemy, Ms. Mary, who has charmed everyone. Either way, I just have to do my utmost to support Lady Violet to the best of my abilities. Mwahaha. Hearken. My name will echo all throughout the capital very soon. This invitation will be my first step towards making history. Never mind all that. Just gulp these down in time of need. Here's a potion to put your body in suspended animation, a revival potion and a potion to stop revival. Also take these, they are pellets made from puffer fish poison. You bastard, what are you trying to do to me? Hey, sister pervert. Take this. What is it, Dr. Perverted Groper? Medicine. Chapter 93, Mimicking Reality. As I was rocked by the carriage, which didn't sway much despite the speed and the road condition due to some kind of magical anti-swaying divine protection, I smiled at Grey and Apricot. The two were looking outside excitedly. I let out a small sigh as I watched Lady Violet and Robot, who was flying next to us, converse. What's wrong, Chloe? You looked at Io and Ray and sighed. Then, Cyan, who was wearing a normal habit that sisters wear instead of her usual habit with a deep slip because she was going to the capital, who looked like she had difficulty moving, noticed me and asked. By the way, Cyan's luggage also includes her usual clothes. I was just thinking that they're laughing so happily right now, but they've been called to the capital because of me. I just hope they don't end up hating it. They'll probably end up meeting him too. Oh, that piece of shit. I can see why you would be worried. I agree with your evaluation, but I don't think a sister should be saying those words. I replied in a way that only Cyan could hear and understand what I was talking about. She immediately spat out an insult without hesitation. I decided to try my best so no harm would come their way after being told by Robot, but I still can't help feeling anxious. In particular, I just don't think that the person who called us there under the name of the royal family will stay quiet. I also won't put it past His Highness Vermillion's group to refrain from attacking Lady Violet. Ash had reconsidered some things after seeing Lady Violet and his attitude softened, but I shouldn't have such expectations for the other love interests. And Mary, was it? Io's dual partner who's leading various men, including the third prince, by the nose. You're going to be meeting her anyway, aren't you? Yeah, you're right. She seems to be popular as a saint in the academy. A saint, her? I look forward to it. Listening to my words, Cyan snorted quietly. Certainly, it's not weird to react in that way when you hear that a 15-year-old girl is called a saint. I can't help but wonder what she thinks of it as a sister herself. Mary Sue. She specializes in alchemy magic and already has a promising future despite only being a freshman at Azalea Academy. She's a virtuous woman, who has talent for both literary and military arts, is gifted with not only intelligence but also beauty. She has strong combat abilities, also has excellent magical aptitude in all fields other than alchemy. She doesn't hesitate to save others, is free-spirited and not bound by common sense. She is said to be able to see things from all perspectives and at the same time, she mysteriously makes others want to protect her. She's a super perfect human woman, who has attracted various famous people on the campus, including His Highness Vermillion. She is said to become the Queen or an important government official in the future, at least according to Ms. Creamhild. Wow, what an amazing girl. I'd love to meet her. Don't pick a fight with her just because you don't like her. I won't. It's the worst thing to try and drag somebody that's above you down to your level. There have been many times when you've picked a fight with me, saying that you couldn't allow me to be happy. I'm just doing it because it's you. It's not like I can stop thinking and treat everybody the same way. Things will definitely work out, right? She's right, and knowing my physical abilities, I'm sure Cyan also thinks that I can deal with her well enough. I've been helped by Cyan's personality and way of acting many times in the past, so I don't want her to change either. Still, treating everybody the same way, Suddenly, I felt caught up in Cyan's words and remembered something. This Mary girl got her current evaluation not only because of her high specs, but also because she didn't make a mistake in dealing with those annoying people. According to my knowledge, dealing with love interests, starting with His Highness, is very annoying. If you say the right words at the wrong time, it won't resonate with them, and if you make a little mistake in responding to their actions, they'll just suddenly disappear on their own. In Ring of Fire, you can't just make the same choices and expect them to work, and in addition to choices. You would have to pay attention to your actions so they flow well with the narration. If she's been acting by being aware of all those things, that would be great. After all, she has saved many people. But, hey, Cyan. Am I an ugly man? What's wrong all of a sudden? Nothing, I was just curious. It's a question, so please answer honestly. Because she's a sister, Cyan can't lie if someone asks her a question. It's because she's following a teaching that says to accept everything sincerely and show people the way by replying to their questions. Members of the corrupted church don't care about that kind of teaching, but Cyan follows it properly, so she'll have to answer even if it's a difficult question. Well, beauty is subjective. You're slightly above average maybe. You have nice features, so you're not ugly at least. Just by human standards though. I see, thanks for taking the trouble to answer. Millimeter, don't worry about it. After answering my question honestly, Cyan didn't pursue why I asked such a question in the first place. She must have decided that since I did not state the reason myself, there was no point in asking. There's a gap from how she usually actually acts, but Cyan is pretty good at her work as a sister. Her normal clothes and actions completely ruin it though. Chapter 94. Are those guys for real? By everybody around. The carriage we rode on ran at such a fast speed that we arrived faster than we would with the carriage we usually use. We managed to reach the neighboring town by noon. I decided to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and greet the lord of this town and exchange information with them while I was here. During that time, I was away from everybody for a short while. I'm sorry for making you wait. Gray, who could not hide his desire to quickly leave, reacted to my arrival in the waiting room of the Space Distortion Stone, where those who were going to other places including the capital were gathered. He straightened his back, and Apricot watched him with a smile. As for Mr. Burnt, he was trying his best to not start smiling after hearing that sound. No, it's fine. We were also able to apply to use the Space Distortion Stone quicker. It will take a little more time though. Lady Violet responded to my arrival and rushed over to me. We had a light conversation about how my talk with the lord of this town went. This made others distracted from us and they resumed chatting about things in the capital with those close to them. Lady Violet. What's wrong? I looked at Lady Violet next to me, and after confirming that nobody was paying attention to us, I casually called out to her. If something happens, please rely on me. Lady Violet also replied casually, so I also continued speaking, trying to keep my composure as much as possible. It's not like I think of her as weak, but I can't help feeling worried about her. I don't know if it's hostility or pity, but as long as I'm her husband, I'm sure many people will be looking at me the same way they did during the investigation in Shiki. I also have enemies who are clearly hostile towards me in the capital, and Lady Violet might also get implicated because of that. That's why I thought that I had to protect her. Fufu, yeah, I'll do that. So if anything happens, you can rely on me too. However, when she answered me with a smile full of composure, I was inadvertently taken aback. Oh no, I have to calm down. I might have been agitated because I'm returning to the capital for the first time in a while and because Robot told me to get a grip. To begin with, she's far superior to me in all aspects except physical abilities, pathetically enough. She also has lived in noble society from birth, which is swirling with conspiracies. She has done so far longer than I have, with most people who approached her aiming for her status. When she came to Shiki and when the students from Azalea Academy came to investigate, she was only caught off guard because she was in a vulnerable state. In my previous life, the CEO of the company I worked for and my friend often made fun of me for that, but I didn't really have a good impression of kissing. I haven't dated any woman, so it was truly an unknown realm for me. But it's about to become a reality. I feel happy knowing that Lady Violet is going to be the first person I experience it with. Hey, come on. You better not be about to make out in front of all of us. I'd like to give you my blessing, but you better do it somewhere else besides this place, which has no ounce of romantic atmosphere and is full of strangers. And Cyan got mad at us. Looking back on it later, just what was I doing? Let's do it somewhere else with a little more romantic atmosphere. I don't want to have our first kiss in a waiting room full of strangers. Hey, Gray, can I ask something? Yes, what's wrong, Lord Burnt? Milady and Lord Clo, are they always like that? Getting embarrassed over a single kiss and panicking. I'm sorry, I don't know. I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it's not something you would do in front of others. I was just thinking how innocent they are. As if they hadn't done it much. No, rather than not having done it much, Lord Clo, mother and father haven't even kissed once. What? Seriously? Seriously? I just need to get them laundered and dried using magic in my room. You see, I really wanted to travel light. Is she for real? Chapter 96, More Troublesome Than Simple-Minded Criminals. Wow tilde. Lord Clo, Lady Violet. Look at all those buildings we don't have in Shiki. The cityscape is beautiful too. Yeah, you're right. And the people, they're like garbage. That's not a good word to say, Gray. When we left the building with the magic circle, which was the warp destination of the Rapstone, Gray started looking around the capital. Since it was his first time visiting, his eyes were shining, while he kept saying words that I don't know where he learnt from. Gray is usually quiet despite the unhinged comments he makes occasionally, but when I look at him like this, he truly looks like a boy of his age. That's right, my disciple. This place is rubbish. You can't just use a different word and think you'll be fine. Although Apricot spoke in the same way as usual, she seemed more fidgety and restless than usual. She wasn't reacting as conspicuously as Grey, but Apricot herself seemed to have also been looking forward to coming to the capital. Wow Tilda, the scenery changes quickly in the capital. By the way, Chloe, what plans do you have? We're planning to leave our luggage at the lodging and do some sightseeing. We'll be busy with the school festival and greetings starting tomorrow. I see, then we'll be splitting up here for a while. I mean, they ask me to come here out of the blue and want me to sing and appear in plays starting tomorrow. Like, what are they even thinking? Cyan seemed a little depressed, perhaps because she had felt the passage of time after noticing that the cityscape had changed after the last time she was here, along with having to greet people in a place she didn't want to go to. If she goes to the church like this, she'll either cause trouble again like the time when she was sent to Shiki, or she'll get stressed out from being looked at from a distance. Still, Ms. Cyan's singing. I'd love to see that. Chem. Ah, I see. I've never sung in front of you, Io. I will also be singing during the school festival, so if you want, you can come see me, or not. They'll probably make me sing at the side, so I don't do anything unnecessary. If you're going to sing from the side, it might also be easier for me to watch from the side. I'm grateful because it would be hard for me to go inside the academy to watch you sing in the middle. Chem, you sure have a way of saying things. After talking with Lady Violet for a little longer, Cyan left us with a see you later. See you later because she is going to be staying at the same place as us. I'm a bit worried about her though because she mentioned that she would run away even if she was chained up. Anyway, first we have to deliver our luggage. Our chaperones, Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber, might not mind it, but it would be better if everybody could move around lighter. Grey, I understand that you want to go sightseeing, but first we need to check our accommodation and entrust our luggage to them. Ah, yes. Understood, Lord Chloe. When I look at Grey, who's carrying his luggage with a big smile on his face and is so excited that I might lose him if I relax, I just feel like it's one of the best things about coming to the capital, Lord Chloe. Yes, you're right. Seeing Grey, who's honestly and innocently happy, makes me think that maybe coming to the capital was a good idea. Damn. I shouldn't have come to the capital. This was the second thing I thought after oh shit when we met a certain person on our way to our accommodation to drop off our luggage. I have good memories and good friends of the capital, but I also have bad memories and enemies here. Lady Violet definitely still has many enemies, and I was also prepared for the nobles to gossip about her from afar since her engagement with His Highness Vermilion had been nullified. I had also taken some precautions in case we met other characters from the Ring of Fire or Ms. Mary, who was her dual opponent. Yes, I had taken precautions, but, a saint, we saw a saint. Wonderful, simply wonderful. I had thought that the historic Azalea Academy had fallen low when I heard that a commoner girl would be the lead in a traditional drama, but yeah, we were mistaken. She's truly an actress deserving of going down in history. Shit, can't we get special seats now? I hadn't taken any measures in this direction. Looking at the men and women of all ages crying in front of us, we were confused. Apparently, just a few minutes ago, the stars of the school festival play were giving a short performance here for light publicity. And those who saw the performance were so overcome with emotions that they kept weeping as if they had seen God. Frankly speaking, it was an extremely bizarre scene. We seemed to have arrived after those main actors had already left though. Listen, the main character of this play is a wonderful woman named Miss Mary. It's no exaggeration to say that if you miss her performance, you'll miss 90% of the fun of the school festival. So please come. You, who missed her now, can come too. Tickets are all sold out now and you can only watch while standing, but still truly worth it. Yeah, sure. I'll come if I have time. That's almost 10 times the loss. I suppressed my desire to retort. After I received a flyer for the play from a cute, little animal-like, silver-haired pretty boy with red eyes in front of me, and smiled insincerely, he bowed with satisfaction and left to hand the flyer to the next person. We'll have to take him on. I muttered quietly as I looked at the bizarre scene in front of me. It was Silver Seyfried, one of the love interests in Ring of Fire, who had given me the flyer. Chapter 97, a non-stop overflowing black aura. I didn't see anything. I wanted to tell myself that and ignore the bizarre sight from earlier, but things are never that easy. Although I didn't see her directly, one of the factors responsible for creating the scene from earlier was Ms. Mary. As long as I have to go to the school festival, I have to know if she's involved. From what I've heard, this situation was created because the promotional play was amazing. Looking at the flyer I received earlier, Ms. Mary and His Highness Vermilion are in the lead roles, so in this case, both of their performances were probably excellent, but Ms. Mary must have stood out more. I can hear the voices praising His Highness, but if anything, the voices of worship towards Ms. Mary are louder. Honestly, it's scary. The school festival play, huh? During my time, only the nobles could star in the play during the school festival. In other words, because it was a play performed at Azalea Academy, which had a long history and pride, the ones participating in it also had to be those of high social status. It was the same way in Ring of Fire too, and depending on the route, the heroine would be the first commoner to play the main character, but this year's leading role seems to belong to Ms. Mary, a commoner. In that case, it would be better to not see the play. I was a bit interested, since I didn't get to see the play during the school festival, because that was when my incident happened, but if Lady Violet heard that His Highness Vermilion and Ms. Mary are in leading roles, she might break down crying. I felt a little prickle again. I wonder why. It's true that I don't want to see Lady Violet burst in tears, but this feels like a different kind of prickle. Let's go, Lord Clo. Grey, who called out to me as if to interrupt my thoughts, peeked at the flyer I was holding, and when he saw the contents, his voice and expression became displeased. Even though he seemed to have been having fun just a second ago. You can't see that he's in a bad mood from the sidelines, but I can tell that he's in a bad mood because the inflection of his voice has become lower than usual. What's wrong, Grey? You seem to be in a bad mood. No sir, it's nothing like that. Looking at the way he's averting his eyes and tries to leave quickly, I can't help but doubt his words. But why would he be in a bad mood? Oh, I see. You're right, let's go to the lodgings quickly. Or might not be able to do any sightseeing. Yes, let's do so. Lord Clo, is there a way to go around here to take a little detour instead of going straight? It seems like the people who are advertising have already taken this road. If I remember right, yeah, we can do that. Grey was worried about what to do until we returned to where Lady Violet was waiting, but he didn't seem to be in any particular distress. Violet didn't seem to have heard about the commotion a moment ago and was chatting with Apricot while looking at the products at a nearby stall. When she noticed my arrival, she stopped shopping and approached me with a beautifully executed short run. Lord Clo, what was that commotion about in the "What's wrong, Lord Clo? You seem tired, but you look like you're having fun." Well, you know, I was just thinking that the capital was going to be more difficult than I thought. Did something happen? I'll tell you while we walk. Let's go to our lodgings first. Do you mind if we take a little detour? I see. If you say so, I don't mind, Lord Clo. Also, Grey seems to be in a strangely good mood. Hasn't he been like that since a while ago? That's true, but, I'm sorry but I cheated a little. Lady Violet treasures Grey, but since he's also my precious family, it should be fine to cheat a little and have a shared secret together. What's wrong, Grey? You smell different from usual. It's nothing. Let's go quickly. His voice and heartbeat are different from usual. I see, so that's what it is. Lord Clo loves Grey too. This sweet smell, judging from his body temperature, aroma, and nutrition, fragrance. I see. There are many attractive foods here. What might you be talking about? I have no idea what you are alluding to. Fufu, how cute. Hey, Mr. Burnt, Ms. Amber. How can you judge my disciple's condition so accurately? I don't know why, but I feel like whatever method you are using, I have to protect my disciple from it. Apricot, your feelings aren't wrong and I think they're able to make judgments because of their special skills. It's honestly scary. I feel like it would be difficult to keep a secret in front of them. Chapter 99. To go to bed without worries. After checking in and leaving out luggage at our lodgings, we went around the capital's main facilities and the central marketplace, where we could buy various things. After enjoying sightseeing for a while, we returned to the accommodation and gathered in my room. We were going to share today's impressions with each other and review tomorrow's plans. By the way, Apricot is also staying at the accommodation, as it's cheaper, probably because of Ash's recommendation. As for Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber, they are staying together as siblings in a room near us at the same accommodation. You don't have any alcohol? Yes. And Cyan, who was more sullen than usual, asked something you wouldn't normally hear from a sister. Apparently, or should I say as expected, she was subjected to a lot of snide comments and pressure at the church. It caused her to get stressed out. As a result of that, as soon as she came here, she split her normal sister clothes with her hands so that it ended up with a slit like her usual uniform, took off her headgear and demanded alcohol. Actually, does she even have spare clothes? How did your sightseeing go? Did you enjoy it? Yeah. I'm feel apologetic to you, Ms. Cyan, but we had a pleasant time. Lady Violet handed Cyan a non-alcoholic drink and told her that we had fun. She told her that Grey and Apricot had funny reactions each time and we had fun just observing them. We were able to see different types of seasonings and tea that we don't see in Shiki and were able to compare the flavors and enjoy the taste. That our eyes lit up when we saw the street performance. It was also fun to see that Lady Violet watching so intently, perhaps because she had never seen them. We also went to a diner that I used to go to when I was a student for dinner and everybody was happy to try it. She talked about what happened just today. I'm glad you had fun. I also wanted to come with you instead of having to practice singing and the play. Tell me about that diner later, Chloe. I've probably never been there before. I'll tell you the location, but don't go there dressed like that. Kot Tai, Chloe saying the same thing as my peers Tilda no. I also think it's better if you stop dressing like that, Ms. Cyan. It's fine in Shiki, but people here aren't used to it, so it's not a good idea to stir them up unnecessarily. But your clothes stand out too, Kot Tai. If your outfit is okay, doesn't that mean that my outfit is okay too? Is that how you thought of my clothes, Ms. Cyan? Apricot's witch-like clothes also stand out.